Hi, in this video I'm going to be showing the ability for audio to list and also bind service instances from other namespaces. Because previously audio was only able to list and bind to services in the current namespace, but this is actually a user feedback that we received. So the use case was simply that they had their services in a shared namespace, and so they wanted the applications to bind to those services, even if the application are deployed in a different namespace. So we added the ability for audio add binding. So when creating a binding and recording the binding information in the dev file, so audio is now able to list the services either for the current namespace or for all the accessible namespaces. So let's quickly see it in action. So if I run audio adds binding here, so now the very first question that this command asks is for the user to select how audio should list the services. So either from the current namespace as before. So here you can see that I'm currently in the myNS namespace. I don't have any service instances there. So I can now try to list the service instances from all the accessible namespaces. So in my case, I have my services in a different namespace called shared services NS. I have a Postgres database there. So I can pick this shared Postgres and I can continue defining the binding. And if I look at the dev file, then I can see that I have this information recorded here. So I have the name of my service and the namespace of my service. So if I run audio dev, then you can see it in action here. If I run audio dev in this namespace, so my dev pod is being created, and we will see that it will be bound as well. So we have the service binding information created here. So just one thing to note about listing service instances from all the namespaces. If the user does not have the permission, so a role-based access control in the cluster to list the namespaces, then as we can see here in this example, so I'm connected as a user that has only permissions in this namespace user NS. So if I run audio add binding and I want to bind to all the accessible namespaces, then we can see that this user has an error. In this case, the user is prompted just to manually enter the namespace name. Actually, this is a difference in behavior between Kubernetes and OpenShift. In OpenShift, yeah, the API returns all the projects that the user has access to, but in Kubernetes, it depends on the role-based access control definition. So that's it for this demo. Thank you.